Raising goldfish is an all-year-round task. It means that even though the weather is getting extremely cold out there, you also need to take care of your fish. You may be wondering, can goldfish freeze and come back to life? The answer is no. Goldfish cannot withstand being frozen for extended periods of time. Goldfish are cold water species by origin. They can adapt to a broad range of conditions in your pond. However, they can only exist at a particular temperature, which is frozen for a few minutes. The goldfish may eventually die from temperature shock. Goldfish, on the other hand, can withstand cold water by reducing their metabolism and physiological processes. Yet, they can only suffer from a limited condition. The consequence may be worse if the weather is too hostile. Additionally, there are some kinds of goldfish you need to pay more attention during the cold days. If you raise fancy fish, they are less likely to stand the cold weather. Georgia Pet Sitters explains the reasons why goldfish cannot come back to life after the freeze. We also include some methods to take care of them during that period. Let's read on to discover why goldfish can freeze and not come back to life. Goldfish, to restate, can't survive in a frozen condition. As a result, they may not resurrect. There are some causes for this issue. Biological factors determine whether the goldfish can live or die. Cell biology. The cell membrane of a goldfish contains a very thin membrane that may break. Water will expand when it transitions from a liquid to a cold environment. When water flows, it requires more space to expand. If the water gets into your fish's cells, catastrophe occurs. Once the cold freezes your fish, the liquid inside its cell membrane hardens. Because water makes up the majority of the liquid, it grows when the liquid freezes. The freezing condition causes the fish cell to burst. Bursting cells is not a good thing. This leads to the death of your goldfish. Cold endurance. Goldfish have grown to withstand temperatures of 5 degrees centigrade. While living at this rate of temperature, their bodies start to hibernate. In this time, they don't eat and then become inactive. They will gradually die if you expose them to this environment for an extended period of time. Fancy goldfish can't live at temperatures below 15 degrees centigrade. They may lose more gene digestibility than a robust ordinary or common type of goldfish. Most goldfish can stand a temperature of at least 5 degrees centigrade. Length of time. A goldfish may endure sub-zero conditions for some hours before its entire body freezes up. They have died when they are rigid and coated in ice crystals. Warming your goldfish can cause them to degrade fast and create an awful smell. If your goldfish live in a frozen place, they may likely live for a while before dying to the cold. Fancy goldfish can't survive in freezing ponds. Hence, the significance of avoiding the pond from freezing over is important. View now. Experiments with the freezing goldfish. There are several videos on the internet that explain this. One guy even submerged the goldfish in nitrogen before immediately returning it to the warm water. The goldfish were still swimming about. Goldfish in a frozen pond. A goldfish won't die from the cold water until the temperature is too low for such a long time that the pond water becomes solid. Your fish, on the other hand, can survive till spring if the water is cold yet hasn't frozen. You'll probably discover the goldfish alive and also well after the weather gets warmer and the pond thaws. Helping the goldfish not to freeze. This part is useful for individuals who live in a region where the winters are extremely severe, too cold to freeze the pond. Here are some prevention strategies you can do to keep your goldfish alive. Clean the pond. Preparing the pond for winter is not complicated. You can puff it off like the way you prepare your house. This method entails washing the pond and eliminating every dead plant, trash, and anything else. If not, they would irritate your fish or emit poisonous gases. Remember to check the filtration system and wash it if your pond includes one. You don't want to quit operating without your understanding during the winter. Clean the pond to prepare for the winter. Aerate the pond. It may be hard for your fish to acquire oxygen when the pond freezes over for the wintertime. You may construct a small fountain to simplify things. The fountain can keep the water moving by circulating it constantly. Thanks to the continuous flow, the water won't freeze up. Even if you follow both of these steps, you may still sacrifice a few fish, particularly those who risk the chilly water, to rise to the surface to obtain air. They will become engulfed in the ice water and freeze. Make a hole on the pond surface in the winter. Ice can be a powerful threat. The pond cannot freeze entirely if your pond is about 3 feet in depth. Even a small coating of ice on the top, however, retains dangerous gases and prevents oxygen from traveling. Your fish may die if these gases don't escape. Pour some warm water into one small area of your pond to fix the issue. The water creates a hole on the surface. Hence, it helps dissolve the ice. You don't need to make a large hole. Typically, a diameter of 12 inches is enough. However, it must remain open until the winter ends. Make a small hole on the pond surface. If you see fish swimming close to the hole, it implies there's not enough air in the lower layers. Then, widen the hole for more oxygen. De-ice and a float de-icer can aid you in maintaining the hole available in your pond. It has a heat source that prevents ice from accumulating in the near area of the device. It doesn't cover the full area or provides enough heat for the fish to survive. It is, nevertheless, successful in reducing ice formation in specific areas. Put a de-icer around the stems of plants whose roots stay underwater if you're placing them in your pond. The de-icer may protect the ice from your plants while yet allowing air to pass through. Adjust the goldfish's diet as the weather gets cold. You need to switch up the type of food you give your goldfish. Changing the amount of food is necessary too. When it comes to food, you can get something that will help you get rid of the waste. However, remember to ensure you don't overfeed your fish. The right nutrient content can help keep your fish healthy during the cold period. Feed your fish a high-protein meal. This nutritional profile allows them to build fat reserves to keep them alive throughout hibernation. Finally, gradually reduce the food volume you give your goldfish. You may put less effort into the food content when the weather heats up in the spring. You won't only limit the quantity of waste the goldfish creates by following the steps above. Nonetheless, you need to make sure that your goldfish save energy by not using it to digest food in their organs. You need to adjust the fish's diet. Check the pond regularly. Goldfish are sensitive to cold weather. As a result, you should keep an eye on your pond during that period. You need to check whether your fish are frequently swimming to the surface. If you notice a lot of bubbles, it means something is happening beneath the surface. To figure it out, you should look into it. You may lose some of your goldfish if you don't. Conclusion: in general, goldfish can't come back to life once they freeze. The only solution to protect your fish is to avoid them from freezing. Please put more time and effort into observing the pond during the wintertime. If you follow the instructions above, your goldfish can thrive in a healthy way after the cold days. If you need any further information, please feel free to ask. Thank you for